that's 100 people a day that are putting their hand up that I get to work with, that I get to follow up with, that I get to, and that our follow up is automated too, because you cannot keep up with 100 to 300 leads a day. It's just humanly.
Welcome to How She Built It. I'm Carrie Augustine Boyle, CEO of Automate and Elevate. Around here, success isn't accidental, it's built. Shannon Boyle, you have tens of thousands of leads from TikTok, thousands of orders that you've brought in from social media, a multi-million-dollar business. And you did it all without dancing, chasing trends, or hoping something would stick. Girl, you didn't get lucky. You got clear. So you built it by repeating literally one message until the market remembered you, right? So we both know that views don't build business, infrastructure does. So, Shannon, I am so excited to have you on and break down how you actually built this. And for those listening who don't know you, let's rewind. How did this all start?
Hey, girl. Well, it's so funny, Carrie. I actually call myself the accidental entrepreneur. So I did not set out to become a
I love that.
social media creator. It all started, honestly, I was slapped upside the head with a good old dose of PTSD. This was like 15 plus years ago. And I set out on my own personal healing journey to figure out how to alleviate the symptoms without medicating it. So, long story short, I got connected with I went back to health coaching school to educate myself. And then once I started to figure out that there were ways to feel better without medicine, I had to tell people, I had to bring it out to the world. And this was back when nobody was talking about anxiety and depression. It was still taboo. This was, 15 plus years ago. And so I felt like it was my calling to speak up on behalf of those that were suffering. So
Hmm.
that's where it started. And so I would share just what I was learning on social media, completely raw, completely unscripted, just winging it. That's my start.
I freaking love that. So basically, like you found this solution to something that was going on in your life, and then you got on. How did that piece work? How did you even get on social? Because, like, if we're talking 15 years ago, that's
I
baby
don't
social media
even
days.
remember the social, like the beginning. I remember first getting a Facebook page and sending my husband Tommy a friend request. I said, "Will you be my friend?"
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't I don't remember exactly. Maybe I would share a little bit about what I was learning in school because I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
I do remember though that at one point somebody introduced to me the concept of network marketing
Okay.
and gave me a book on it. They were trying to recruit me into their business.
Oh my gosh.
So they gave me the book called The Flip Flop CEO. And the only message I got out of that book, Carrie, was like, learn how to make money sitting on the beach. And I was like, hell yeah, sign me up. Like, I want in on that game.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out how to create reoccurring income into my health coaching business that was launched because I was trying to cure my own PTSD. So that was my beginning of like formulating a business, if you will, because I wanted to just get the word out. And I was like, why not make a little extra money? I was a stay at home mom with 4 young kids. I was like, I want to make extra cash, right? So
Yeah.
that's how that started. And then a few years later, as I'm getting evolved, as a business owner, I sought out how to do social media better
Hmm.
because I didn't like the in-home model of network marketing and recruiting and getting leads and all that. And I was like, this is not for me. It gave me anxiety. My whole point of starting a business was to get
Yeah.
rid of anxiety.
Yeah.
So I surrounded myself with people that were learning to do social media before it was really popular for network
Okay. So
marketers.
speaking of popular, and then you discovered good old TikTokity, right? You
Yes.
found the TikTok space, which
Yes.
I guess, I mean, you know a better time frame than me. It kind of started to take off what, 2018, 19, 20, somewhere in
Yeah,
that.
and I was even a little bit late to the game. So I started in like 2022, and that's after I'd watched a sideline who had gone over there like a year before me. And he got like 100,000 followers, like basically in a blink of an eye because he got in right when it was popping and there was not a lot of creators over there. So TikTok was rewarding anybody that was
That
creating
was yeah.
content.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I did the same thing. I'll agree with you. I was late to the party as well, but I went over and I kinda just started to watch and what are people doing, had a couple videos take off. Bob Barker, my little Yorkie, I put him in a
I love
backpack.
Bob
That
Barker.
was my first viral video, right? I put him in this
Of
clear
course, he
backpack, posted it, and got all these followers. So, speaking of that, right, and I guess that's kind of a good segue for my next question. You got onto TikTok. I built this following with all randomness, right? I was doing Bob Barker, I was sharing like healthy living, I was sharing comedy stuff with my husband. You, because since we've met, me and Shannon Boyle have known each other, I think 2 years now. And I watched a lot of your evolution on TikTok and how you do it and how you were able to get thousands of dollars in orders and how you get all these leads off. You're pretty, like, repetitive over there. Like, you're the epitome of not getting bored with your content, like, so
ugh.
how did you dial that piece in? You went from,
That's
like
so funny. I had a little self-talk with myself today, like, "Shannon, it's okay that it's boring, do it again."
there you go, there's a reason we're having this chat, you know? Because
Mhm.
you went from finding this business, you went into the Facebook world, which I did the same thing way back when I
Yeah.
got started online, it was a safe space. You found TikTok, and then you created this beast. How'd you do
Well,
it?
so I went over to TikTok. I already knew who I was talking to and what problem I wanted to solve when I went over there. But I also was going to incorporate a lot of value around that problem and for my audience. So when I first started, I was doing a lot of different things with the same intention, right? Like, so I,
Mhm.
I was going to go help people who have anxiety, right? Like that has always been my mission. That is who I serve and who I take care of. But then I was going to tell them all the things I learned in school and like this book I read and this technique I know and all these things to make the content not boring
Yeah, so I was
because
gonna say.
that's what Facebook had us doing, right? It was more of a journey you had to take people on. TikTok was so brilliant. Back then, it was already interest based. So it was going to
Ooh.
send out your content to people who were interested in what you were talking about, where Facebook is just going to show your content to the same group of friends and family over and over. So if I kept doing that on Facebook, my people would have been like, Shannon, what the hell? You know?
Yeah.
But then I quickly learned I didn't have to do all that extra fluffy stuff on TikTok. It took my main message and it would just keep bringing it to a new audience over and over again. In fact, the same exact video I would repost a dozen times and it would go out to tens of thousands of new viewers every single time. I didn't change a thing. It was the same exact thing. They since have not let you really do that as much, but I rode that thing hard while I was allowed to. And so TikTok trained me how to show up as a creator.
Interesting. On that note, interest-based media, like, I'm kinda happy that you touched on that because that's it's kinda gone full circle, right? Like, that's literally where we are now,
Yeah.
no matter no matter what platform you're on.
Well,
So,
Facebook and Instagram are now catching on that that's the way, and that is what where social media sits today in 2026. It's going to now start pushing your content out to people that are interested in the topic.
my, how things have evolved, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
I'm
constantly
yes,
evolving.
and it's constantly, quote, unquote, kind of what we call, like, a game. You gotta play the social media game, like, they're kinda like big boss up there and whatever they're right?
You know, the social media is constantly evolving, but there's some true tried and hard consistencies when it comes to marketing and
Give
sales,
us all
though.
your wisdom. Go. Drop it. I'm taking notes. Go.
Yeah. Well, telling your story is never gonna go out of date. Like, that's always gonna work, right? Sticking to, like, who you serve and what problem you solve, and
Mhm,
that's never gonna go out. Also building in a foundation of systems so
mhm.
that you can I say it's like you launch, grow, and scale. Those are like the 3 steps of building a business. So first you just come out hot and wild and whatever. You launch, and then you're looking for some growth, and then you're looking to scale that, right? But if to do that, you have to have a foundation, and I think that that's what can be consistent in your business. And that's what I built with you, like
Yes.
having a foundation so I'm not hustling and burning out.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go through this. So, the launch phase, which is kind of essentially where you got clear, right? That's where you got clear with your messaging, where you kind of shared that you got repetitive, right?
Well, so let's say TikTok, right? I launched over there taking my mental wellness message, how to serve those who want to get rid of their anxious feelings without medicating it. So that was
Hmm.
my launch. Like, here I am. My name is Mental Wellness University on TikTok. I'm going to teach you all the things that they did not teach you when it comes to calming your nervous system. That was my launch.
I love it. Okay. And then you just did who, what, where, when, why, how,
Yeah,
like,
and then to grow, I showed up consistently every single day sharing, educating, and advocating for my audience.
gotcha. And then we get into the scale, right? Which is, I mean, I really want to unpack this with you. So you're doing all this and you're getting people now, you're getting that attention. Maybe walk us through when you first were getting that attention, what was your process and how has it evolved over time?
Oh
Because
my gosh, girl. When I first started, this is actually a funny story. I wasn't prepared for the amount of engagement that was going to happen over there because it was unlike anything we've ever experienced on Facebook up to that date. So I did one video. I was really, I call it lucky, but if we go back and we dissect the actual piece of content, I think there was a formula in there that I unconsciously didn't know I had working,
Mhm.
but I I had it was my 4th day creating on TikTok, and I sucked, you guys. I was so nervous. I had no idea what I was doing. I was embarrassed. I was feeling vulnerable, and I wasn't dancing or anything. I was, doing these short little 1-minute live recordings of myself.
like talking.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it was a new platform. I was nervous. I had no idea what I was doing, and I've learned about myself that I don't like to be very vulnerable, right? But I was like, "Shit, like, here
Like,
we go." I was ready to quit on day 3. Day 4, a video goes out, and it hit, and it went what we call viral. So, I consider myself lucky that I was confirmed right away that I was in the right spot.
I love that. Yeah. No, I
But
love
this is
that you
what
were
happened. Listen to what happened. So everybody starts saying, "Give me more information. Like, how do I get this? What do I do?" And I was like, "Holy shit. Like, have you ever in your life," like, guys, this is 2022. This is before all these viral sales started to happen, right?
yeah, yeah.
In our industry. So I wasn't prepared. I didn't have anything set up for them to come into to click and to buy and to order. So I had to start getting my shit together as
Mhm.
far as like the whole funnel and like where they could go next.
What
Um
happens? Because if not, like, I'm assuming you went viral, I've gone viral, right? You sit there and you were sending messages, copy and paste messages, hoping people would see them, I don't know.
well, the first thing that happened is I felt like I lost a lot of time
Mhm.
because I was like, "Holy shit, hundreds of comments came in." I had like 800 comments overnight, right? And I was like, "How do I take care of all of this?"
Mhm.
How like, I didn't even have anything set up to give them, so I didn't even have a link
Oh my
to
gosh.
share. Yeah, because I was like, maybe, we were used to maybe 1 or 2 engagements in a message, like, that was old
That
school
was it.
Facebook. Yeah.
You were totally unprepared. Okay.
Completely unprepared. So my first thing is I quickly, like, figured out I gotta make a link. I gotta
Mhm.
make a link, and I use Linktree.
That's
I
what I'm
actually
saying, it was probably
still
something like that
I
back then.
still yeah, that was my OG lover, Linktree.
Linktree. Yeah, and if you're listening, Linktree, Milkshake, they're basically like your typical link in bio sites, like, right?
Mhm.
It's a link filled with buttons that go to, the products
Wherever
that
you wanna
Shannon.
send them.
Yeah, exactly. So, alright, you did that, and I'm guessing you probably did that for a while, right? Months?
Yeah,
Years?
yeah. The Linktree actually, I still have Linktrees in my bio
Yeah, you still use them.
just because I'm really comfortable and can navigate them really fast
Mhm.
instead of learning something new, which,
Uh,
that's when I met you and I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Like,
I'm
we're
just gonna
gonna
hire
ship
you, and
around.
I'm gonna let you do it.
Alright, so on that note, when did you realize that sending the link was not a strategy that was gonna work long term? And I'm sure you didn't realize it on this video on day 4 of being on TikTok. It might have been months later. It might have been,
Yeah.
after months of sending who
It
knows.
was a while. What I knew in the back of my brain that I was very resistant to for a while just because it was learning and doing something different, right? And I was like in full like run mode. I wasn't collecting emails. I didn't know who was clicking on my links. So I wasn't capturing any information that would help me with follow up or future conversations. So I basically don't own anything at that point.
Mhm.
It's all the leads are on social media. I don't even know I have a lead sometimes unless they purchase. So I knew I needed to do this if I wanted to scale.
Alright. Now, I guess on that note, my brain's going in so many directions because you and me are talking Shannon on the other side of this, right? Meaning you now know that you can capture people. You now know that
Yes.
there's like a better way. So, for someone that's maybe thinking, oh, the strategy is just post a lot of content or do what you said and just post the content that resonates, get lots of comments, and, the odds will be in your favor at some point. If someone's listening
Yeah.
right now, what would be like that thing that you would say, like, no, the odds aren't in your favor, especially knowing what we know in 2026 and the interest media and the saturation
Mhm.
on social media, like that message, like
Well, a
that
couple
one.
things. One is the way I was doing it was a formula for burnout because nothing was going to be automated unless I was triggering it, unless I was a piece of it.
Mhm,
And the other thing that happened, I went to TikTok because I wanted to grow the product side of my business, not the
mhm,
business side. But
mhm,
then I was like, so I put all the energy in there and that was working. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to also do the business side, which is growing my team.
mhm,
And that's what I wanted to create. That's what my first funnel I built with you is I wanted to create a system where people could opt in. They had to give me their information so I knew they were interested in a
mhm,
business.
mhm.
They had to opt in, fill out the form to get to my quick start video that would give them an overview of what it looked like to work with me. And that was my first big girl, like official opt in, get an email, follow-up series with emails to nurture them.
And in doing that, like, I remember you're kind of bringing me back to when we first started doing this. Like, Shannon had so many questions, like, for someone that does this for a living, like what I do, who you unfortunately tend to, like, talk in those, like, higher level words or the words that people don't understand. I remember, like, I was breaking it down to Shannon, like, "We're gonna do this, and then we need to do this," and she's like, "Whoa, slow down," right?
Oh, well, you know what's so funny? Side note here. I just did a brain mapping yesterday. So I now work with veterans in mental wellness, and we're gonna be bringing them brain mapping and neurofeedback, and I get to be a guinea pig. Like, they're giving me a whole, like, protocol, so I go first. So I had my brain mapping
I wanna do this.
yesterday. I mean, if you guys wanna really get to know yourself, go get your brain mapped. I do get fixated, and that was part of my where my brain is, it gets stuck on things, and so I was like, I wanna know, right? Like, so and I have trouble giving up full control, right? Because 'Cause I've always just been a doer. So when I was turning over the keys to you, I was like, "But I wanna know first. Like, explain to me, like, what's gonna happen because I wanna be able to." I mean, any other control freaks out there, like, I know I'm not alone. Like, that's part of being an entrepreneur, right? Like,
Mhm, it's true.
so I knew what I wanted to have built out. What I did not know, and I still not do not know today, which you are the expert and the guru, and your brain is brilliant, is how to run the technology of it.
Mhm.
That was slowing me down. It was keeping me stuck. And I was like, Harry, I just need you to set all that up for me. That's not my zone of genius. It's painful. It's painful for me.
Mhm.
So I was like, here's my vision. Can
Do
you
it.
make it
Yeah.
happen?
No, I like that you mentioned that, like, staying in your lane. I call it staying in your lane, right? As
Mhm.
as entrepreneurs, I'm with you. We don't like delegating because we think we do it best and we
Yeah,
wanna do it all. But at the end of the day, if you wanna scale and you wanna have this big, massive business and you wanna go back to the toes in the sand that you talked about, right? Is that
yeah,
what it was, the book?
yeah, flip-flop
Flip-flops?
CEO, pretty
Yeah.
much, toes in the sand.
Yeah, if
Yep.
you wanna have your toes in the sand and not be stuck doing every single thing, at some point you have to delegate. So
Well,
when you
time is really valuable, and did I wanna spend time learning technology? No. Like, I wanted to get my message out there
that's what I'm saying,
and
get the leads.
drive traffic to that
Totally.
funnel, not spend time building the funnel.
Mm-mm. Not doing things that aren't in your lane. Alright, so you touched on, now that you're working on veterans, and your content had a little pivot, but it's still kind of in the same realm.
Well, here was another shift that happened on TikTok. This was about 2 years ago. It was pivoting, and we're still in that pivot where we went through an amazing year of what we called the click and buy, where you
Mhm.
could create a piece of content, people would click on the link in your bio, and they would buy it. Like, you would never meet them, you wouldn't have a conversation. It was wild. It was like pulling down the
Slot
slot
machine.
machine and all sevens hit. It was so freaking fun. But that started to wear off because more people were social selling. The audience started to become more
Yep.
skeptical. Like maybe they bought some bad shit online one time and then they're like, I don't know, I'm not going to be so fast to buy this time. TikTok shop was just kind of erupting. So the pivot was that I was noticing and my team was noticing we weren't getting those fast buys anymore. And that's when we were like, oh, we got to start nurturing. And the nurture is giving them something free that they opt into to capture their contact information so you can stay in touch with them post that piece of content. So that's where, and around that time, I was shifting into working with the veterans, and my veterans, they get access to free non narcotic medical devices. I help them access through the VA. In order to help them do that, we needed a form that they could fill out stating which ones they want and how to get it. And so that's where you have taken my business to the next
Stratus
level. 10,000 emails collected for forms filled out in the matter of a few months,
a few months. It's
all
insane, like
coming through TikTok content.
mhm, and it's been incredible to watch. Yes,
Yeah,
Shannon.
because you get to see the back office part of it, like, you
Uh-huh.
see what populates.
Huh? Like, we're talking, like you said, tens over 10,000 leads, but the cool thing is you had a foundational understanding of what the funnel was and how it works when you went into that business. So, like, again, the message I wanna get out there to the masses is, imagine, let's just imagine Shannon did not have that foundational knowledge and you went on to TikTok and you were getting all these attention because she's getting so much attention for people wanting these devices and information because there's a lot of veterans that need support, right? And imagine if you didn't have a funnel to share with them and you were just, I don't even know what it
It
would look like, to be honest.
well, it wouldn't be smart.
Right? I mean, because you've had multiple videos since you've been
Well,
doing this
here's
go viral. Like,
yes, I'm thank you, God, it is so blessed. The whole thing has been so blessed. One of the cool things we've been able to see because I have a couple partners in our OptiVet Solutions business. One of the cool things that we are so happy about is because the veterans come in, they fill out the form, we gather their information so that we can help them through the process. When we started out, I had one device they could get. It was red light wraps. We now have added migraine relief machines and virtual reality headsets for PTSD. And we're about to launch a new one with this neurofeedback. Because we have this list built out, we get to go back to them every time we add a new product for them and just go boom. And it just like pours gasoline on the fire.
the gasoline on the fire. Because not only is she right? Because again, yes, back when TikTok was a slot machine, you were getting customers and you had that customer list in your back office. But pre funnel day, you had no way to reconnect with the leads. So,
Yeah.
in this scenario that you just talked about, yes, you're going to have a new device. You're going to be able to hit the people that have already gotten devices and then the people that are on your list that maybe never got one yet.
Exactly.
Hmm. Alright, so I guess my next question would be, before we wrap it up, is, like, what feels, like, more predictable now? Like, what feels like, "Hey, I'm running, like, a CEO level business," or, you know?
Do you know what's so cool, Carrie? Like, I still create content every day. Like, I'm still active, putting out that fresh message and the fresh video. But what's so cool is gathering all the leads that are automated. And then I like go look on my spreadsheet and I'm like, holy smack. Like, I remember during the snowstorm we had a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
people were scrolling. Like, there were days I had 100 to 300 leads in one day. My business works off of leads, so, like, I need them to come in, right, to finish the
Mhm.
process, which most of us do, right? Like, click and buys just aren't as hot. So I was like, "That's 100 people a day that are putting their hand up that I get to work with, that I get to follow up with, that I get to," and that our follow-up is automated too because you cannot keep up with 100 to 300 leads a day.
Mm.
It's just humanly not possible.
The
So
follow-up.
the lead generation comes in, and then the follow-up is automated, emails are automated, text messages are automated, and I'm so grateful for that part, and that's what you helped us build.
Yay! So you get to literally do what I would say most online entrepreneurs, you get to do what most online entrepreneurs actually do, that's the enjoyable part, which is, like, creating the content, putting the content out, right?
Yeah,
You're just dialing in the content that's going out there and watching the leads essentially roll in.
yeah.
And the rest of
It's
the time, you're just with your family.
yeah, and
Pretty
I'm
much.
like, "Look at all these leads. This is amazing."
Alright, so the last question, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So, what do business owners or CEOs, in your opinion, underestimate that keeps them stuck in that content chaos? So, like, what is keeping them
Well, I can speak for me. Mine was learning something new, trusting in investing, into partnership to, like, delegate, to get help in something that I wasn't like, that wasn't my strong suit, right? Because I could have and I did for years, like, piecemeal shit, like like
Yeah, no.
Band-Aids piecemeal. I feel like a big girl CEO that I actually have a team
I
now.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
I have a tech team. I have, people that I can rely on that can do the pieces that I'm not great at.
So, it's funny you say that with the, like and sorry, I my mind started racing again, and I got another question. When you talk about, like, having these teams and, like, the tech team and, like, delegating, I think you would agree that a lot of people that are going to invest, business owners, we're going to invest in some kind of support. It feels scary. It feels scary.
Yeah.
Like, do I spend this? You have to spend. The point I'm making is, like, sometimes you have to spend money to make money, but it's how do you decide? When your business was growing, how do you make that decision of,
Where is it smart to
yes, like,
invest?
where's the smartest? Or
Yeah. Well, I
I
think you
know
have
it's like a
to
loaded question, but it
No, I think, like, you have to ask yourself, well, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? And are you willing to invest? And I stalked you. I'm a stalker. I watch for a while to see if somebody's gonna be consistent and reliable and know their stuff. Um, so I watched you for I had a carry list before I ever even reached out to you, and I was like, "When I reach out to her, these are the things that I know that I wanna work with her on."
I love
So
that.
I already knew what I was coming to you for, and I just needed to know if you were the right person to, like, get the job done.
I love that. And
I'm gonna have to go and find my carry list. I know it's
I
still in
know,
my
now I wanna
notes.
see this list. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming and hanging out with me. She's literally, you guys, like my sister from another mister,
We're
and
not related either, you guys, which is so funny. People, because of our last name, we both married a Boyle.
we both married a Boyle, and we connected instantly, and it's kinda crazy that she said she stalked me for a while because the social stratosphere brought us together, and I gotta say, you're one of my favorite people to reach out to when I'm having a rough moment in my own business or something that I'm struggling with, so you are incredible, and I'm gonna link everything after this episode. I'll make sure to get from Shannon all the links for, like, her VA stuff, her social media profile, so they'll be below this episode so that you guys have access to those as well.
Thank you, Carrie. I love you so much. And thank you for always being consistent and bringing us real value. Like you popped off the feed for me. That's how I started watching you. I was like, finally somebody that is using social media correctly and authentically with integrity and actually teaching us. So thank you.
I appreciate you. All right, girl. Until the next time, what I hope you heard today is this: views don't build businesses, infrastructure does. Clarity builds authority. Repetition is going to build memory, and systems are going to build revenue. So if you're out there optimizing for views instead of assets, this episode was your wake up call. And if you're serious about building something predictable, make sure you're following the show. New episodes drop every Thursday.